out here about to do this thing we call, today is April 1st, but this is no April Fool's, guys. We're doing this thing called Bass for Cash. All you have to do on your end is subscribe to the channel. It does not cost a thing to participate, all right? Subscribe to the channel, guess the weight of the fish, and bam, just like that, courtesy of SWAT Lawn Operations, you can walk away with some cash for your pocket. Just that simple. Now, let's go over a quick few things, guys. What we're going to play around with a little bit today is a fluke. So we have a fluke tied on. We have a little top water bait tied on. You know I got to throw my swim bait, and we have another top water. So this is the action side. This over here is the action side, all right? Now, if you swing over here to the other side, we have the kind of the easy living, the slow grooving. We have the worming side over here. So we have a shaky head. We have another shaky head. Let me see. What is this one right here? What is this one? Oh, okay. That's a minnow. We got a minnow right there. We got a wacky rig. And then we have a slow-moving spy bait. So this is the smooth and groove side over here. But let's go ahead and get to it. As you come into the live stream, please go ahead and hit that like button for me. We got to get the likes up to get the bites up. All right, that's the way it works. We got to get the likes up to get the bites up. Now, hopefully we'll be able to get onto a top water bite today, but we'll see. You never know what is in store for you when you come out here. Man, these bugs are out here getting crazy. Had a spider crawling on me. All right, guys, we're about to go ahead and roll out. We're going to do some offshore stuff today. Yesterday, that shallow water bite wasn't really working for me, so we're going to take a look offshore. We have about 1.5 hours on the shot clock today, all right? 1 hour and 30. Let's get it. Man, look at the water today. It's slick calm. I mean, we have a little bit of ripple out here on the lake. But for the most part, it's slick calm. All right, so the other thing that I've been doing, I need to go ahead and lock in these cables. So that's one of the things I'm out here, not necessarily testing, but I have to make sure that the cable has enough movement in it to go all the way to one side, which it does. Let's bring it all the way back around to the other side, which it does. All right, so we're good. We're good right there. So we'll go ahead and cinch that down right up there whenever we get back to where we're going. Let's go ahead and get these electronics on. Get everything up and ready. And we're going to take a look around and see what these fish are doing today. All right, there we go. All right, we're good, we're good. We're going to go with some mapping on the screen down here. And up here, let's see. All right, just have to wait for the connection to come on. I see it's kind of flashing on there, but it is not flashing on my end. That's just, I guess, just the way that it does whenever it's showing on another screen. All right, who do we have in chat today? We're on a little early. Shout out to the DQ Queen. Were you laughing because that spider was crawling on me? Shipboy says, you throw the spider in the water. I did not throw the spider in the water. I slapped him up. I gave him a front hand and a back hand. Spot says, you have a wake bait? Try that. We'll see. Chef Boy said Jason Voorhees is in the chat. You got to be careful. What's going on, Dottie? We got Dottie tuning in. So yeah, guys, it is a very lovely day out here. Not too windy at all. So we're going to scout around and see if we can find these fish today. So like I said, the shallow water bite didn't really work out for me yesterday. So we're going to take a look and see if some of these fish have come offshore, which it does not look like they are here. Nope. All right, let's keep on moving. Oh, we're going to find them first. All right, so tie straps. I just use these as temporary, kind of like a temp fix. But I need to, let's see if we cinch that down just a little bit more. But I'm going to change that out and put electrical tape on there. Like I said, some of this stuff, I'm still checking some adjustments. So I haven't permanently locked some of the stuff down yet. But we'll get to it. All right, let's keep on moving. Spot Snatcher says, go and hit that dock bite. I'm going to go shallow real quick. I'm going to do a long, deep point now. Let's go take a look at a long point. All right, let's take a look again and see what we can see. Now, I do see a little birdie up there on the bank. All right, so all I'm doing is easing up on these banks, guys. While I'm doing that, I might as well let's throw this swim bait right here. This is a custom painted swim bait. So we'll just sling this out a little bit just in case while we're moving around. So this isn't, I guess this is similar to a wake bait, spot snatcher. I don't know if you can see it, but it's coming just below the surface. Can you see that swim bait? It's just below the surface. And I'm pretty sure that you are familiar with the Seville swim baits. Those were a hot commodity at one point. So I was scooping those things up like crazy. All right, so this is the screamer, the screamer rod. I need to oil it up. What's going on, Texas Newbie? Said, Money, you up early today. What's up with that? Man, I got some stuff to do today. Okay, I see him. All right, I see a little something, guys. But they're still, oh, wait a minute. What is that? Yeah, they're still kind of relating to the bottom. Which means, let me put this down real quick. And we're going to throw a different kind of shaky head today, guys. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. Shout out to the burning season. He says, what time frame were you thinking for the big bass battle? There is no date or no time frame or anything yet. It's just checking to see who's all interested and gathering info from everybody. So once I get everything kind of ironed out, I can shoot out a message and see who's available. It's going to be that kind of thing. It's kind of hard to just get them planned out. I may end up doing some things during the weekdays also. It really just depends on scheduling and how many people are available. So generally I try to get six guys that are interested. Well, guys and gals, we got some gals out there too doing their things, right? But I do want to do something sooner than later. So the plan is to get to have it sometime this month. Man, so it's going to be kind of warm today. I mean, just taking a look around, you guys see that bird over there? Where'd it go? That bird is like, hey, bud, I'm out here fishing too. You're messing up my spot. So we're sitting in 13 feet of water right now. Burn Season said, Diddy got some oil for that reel. I'm pretty sure he does. We got Allstate back in the chat, says, what's the word, Thunderbird? So the pollen doesn't look all that bad right now as far as on the screen. You guys know I've been out here. So for anybody who doesn't know, I just switched over and got this Garmin system. Oh, I see something. I see you, buddy. Let's see if I can pop him right in the head. All right, so yeah, it's real. Drew said, did somebody say oil? Tex New said, what you throwing in 13 feet of water? Right now, we're hitting them with a shaky head. Everything is just kind of slick calm, so I'm going to move around a little bit. And I'm also testing out a new prop. It's called a FIPAWA or something like that. F-A-P-A-W-A. I mean, F-I-P-A-W-A. Uh-oh, who was that tuning in? Shout out to Bass Hunter. We got Midwest tuning in. Beards and Bass back in the chat. Said he hit a 7.3. You needed that 7.3 back when we did the big bass battle. Are you ready for a rematch? All right, let's move again, guys. I really want to find the area where things seem to be pretty active, and then we'll slow down a little bit. Oh, burning season said it'll be a while before I test the drag. Okay, all right, challenge. Challenge accepted. All right, we're gonna stop out here a little bit deeper. Let's see how deep we are right now. All right, we're sitting in. Where's my water depth at? Oh, 60 feet. We're sitting in 60 feet right now. So we're just easing on up to the shallower water. It would be nice to get one on a swim bait today. So we'll be throwing a fluke. But of course, if we keep seeing the fish relating to the bottom, then we got to go down there where they're at, right? All right, what are you guys talking about in the chat? Frisco said, you still playing with spots. And you know this, man. All right, you said, nice video at MLF. Texas Noop says, Beers and Bass, you will slay him with the new boat. Okay. Let me get this fluke out and play with that just a little bit too. Frisco says something needs some oil. It sure does. All right. We We are now sitting in about 12 feet of water. Frisco said 80 feet with a non-weighted fluke. What you thinking? All right, let's put this thing on high and just cover some water real quick. All right, can you guys see the bottom down there? So we're sitting in 13 feet. You can see all the way to the bottom very easily. Let me see, what size braid is this? Oh yeah, definitely. Those, when these fish start hitting on top, you can be out in like 40, 50 feet of water and catch them on top water with a fluke out here. This water is very, very clear, so those fish will travel to go ahead and get that bite. Let's see how the drag is on there. Turn that drag up just a little bit. All right. So I'm seeing some suspended fish right now. They're just kind of roaming around. Play around with this little minnow bait for a little bit. Spot Snatcher says, that's how we do it here. They will come up in 40 feet of water. That's right. Fiscal says, suspended fish equal crank or jerk bait, in my humble opinion. Those will work. All right, I'm focusing today, guys. I'm focusing. Trying to see if I can get a grasp on this minnow thing everybody's talking about. So I'm seeing a few fish roaming around, but nothing too serious at the moment. Man, that sun is up and shining bright right now. All right, we got one looking at it. Come on, bud, go ahead and eat it. All right, well, he was like, I just want to look at it. All right, there we go. All right, we just have some followers. We're gonna go down there on the bottom to them now. I think this right here will work. So we're back to some dangling. Frisco said you need some of them polarized lenses. I think so too. You said I may have wanted to do it off camera, but I told you guys yesterday. I mean, it may be boring for you for a little bit until I get out here and spend some time with it. But some people want to come along for the ride, see it all in real time. As I go from a beginner minnow shaker to being able to put them in the boat. Does anybody know how I can get my like the depth and the settings back up on the screen? I don't know what button I pressed and it's gone now. So I actually have to go in here to the menu to make adjustments on things. Like my gain and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Gain is 81. Let's pump that up a little bit. Let's put it right there. We still have a lot of pollen and stuff like that out here. So we're gonna have a little bit of just graininess on the screen from that. That's pretty much the same with the Mega Live system too. Oh goodness, did that foul up? Let's see. All right, nope, we're good. Frisco said lower the sensitivity. So right now I'm not efficient enough with this system. Just go in here dee, 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 and just click the button real fast and get things set to where I want them at. So I have to actually go in there and find where is the sensitivity. I can see the gain as soon as I hit it, because that kind of comes right up. Shout out to Hooks on Fishing. Said your buddy is good with the Garmin. You're still learning it. Hey, I'm just a few days in. I'm just a few days in with Garmin. As far as using it, as far as what, being able to catch fish with it, it's similar to the Humminbird, but I can tell the difference as far as being able to track my bait and things like that. And the way the fish move, like the movement of the fish and everything is a little bit better. We might have a customer out there. Come on and talk to me, bud. So I have the 34. So this is the 106, what is it, SV Ultra 2. And is it LVS or LSV 34? But it's the 34. And I have this set on 80 feet out. I'm used to keep in mind, when I had the Humminbird, I set it on 95 feet out. So let's go ahead and change that and see how that looks, because that's what I'm used to. Forward range, let's take it to 95. Does it just move in increments of 2? Yeah, it looks like it moves in increments of 2. All right, I see him sitting out there 80 feet out, suspended. All right, looks like they're staying suspended. So we're gonna change up a few things. I might need to put the jerk bait back on there and see how they react to that. Frisco said you spent the extra money for the 34. I'm so proud. Yeah, there's no ripple on the water or anything. So it's gonna be kind of hard to get these fish to, I mean, they're set up good for a jerk bait right now, but I don't know how well that would work with the water being as calm as it is right now. Oh man, all right, we got hung up, guys. Let's just go ahead and break this one off because I want to try some few things before I move on. All right, let's throw this back here. I don't feel like retying right now. All right, so what I will try, let's see, where did it go? Where's it hiding at? Let's try a spy bait on him, guys. We got Brian on the water. Said, how deep we fishing? Right now, I'm sitting in 17 feet of water, but the fish are out in, let's see, where'd those fish go? The fish are suspended out in about 30 to 40 feet of water, but they're about, I'd say 15 feet below the surface, something like that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna throw, the +1 jerk bait, but all right, there we go. All right, let's just slow roll this back and see if we get some action. Nope, still nothing. All right, we're gonna get at least one fish to the boat before we head out today. But today is a day where I'm out here, like I said, just kind of playing around with my electronics. I told you guys I would come out here and do that. See if anybody wanted to come along for the ride with that. So we have a little bit more time out here. Ella said, you pump watermelon. What's up with that? But this time we got some stank on it. All right, so there's my bait right here out at about 75 feet, and those fish are down here relating to the bottom. I know you guys can't really see it because I can tell that it's kind of flashing on the screen, but I don't know what's making it do that today. It wasn't doing that yesterday. All right, so we're just spot locked in position, sitting in about 20 feet of water, casting out to, what is that, about 20, yeah, about 25 to 30 feet of water. Don't tell me we got hung up again. Not again. Oh, there we go. Frisco says loose wiring, or maybe you adjusted trolling motor. What is that in regards to, Frisco? What are you talking about? I must have missed what you guys were saying in the chat. All right, so we are out here on Lake Lanier, guys, having a little bit of fun in the sun. Still kind of moving around, trying to see what we can see, try to find where these fish are hiding at. So with today being bright and sunny, bluebird skies, generally means the fishing will be a little bit tougher. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off and go skip some docks. All right, let's try this wacky rig. Well, Nico rig real quick. And then we're gonna pack up and roll on out. All right, now it's sitting right down there where they're at, guys. So we'll see what happens. Bass Hunter says, let's see, I looked up this for you. Accessing controls, go to your sonar view, select menu. Okay, look at that. I'm getting an on the water tutorial. All right, let's see, go to my sonar view menu, sonar setup, overlay data, to display specific data points, range and gain. Okay, so we're showing that. Time of day, depth show. Dang. Nope, that didn't do it either. I don't. Let's see, layout, grid overlay, scroll history, beam. What's going on, Daddy Daughter Podcast? Haven't seen you in the chat for a minute. Glad to have you back. Yeah, I'm still not doing something right. Bass Hunter still didn't show up down there. But I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get my readings to show down here so I can just adjust my gain and stuff like that without having to go into the settings each time. Overlay data. Let's see what's under appearance. Trails, default gain, color scheme, back. Let's see, overlay data. Time of day. Let's see, universal water. Depth. Yeah, so that's actually changing the readings over here. I want to get the get it to where it'll show my adjustments. Edit overlays. Nah, that still didn't work for me. All right. Bass Hunter says menu, on screen control show. Sonar setup layout. All right, sonar setup layout. On screen control, on screen controls, show. Appreciate it, sir. All right, let's head over and skip some docks a little bit, guys. The sun is out and bright, so maybe these fish should be hiding in the shade now. So it's time for a dangle session, Frisco. If the wind was up a little more, then maybe we could come out here and throw some of these moving baits. Man, I need to. There's something over there that keeps going, keeps jumping. Let's just throw a top water out there and see what happens. All right, let's move. Oh my goodness, we got less than an hour left on the shot clock. I told you guys today we're out here for a good time, not a long time. But I just made some adjustments to a few things, so I wanted to come out here and check them out. And see what we can see. Frisco said 2 casts. Shout out to Whipstick in the chat. He said, what's good? All right, so things are a little better over here. It's a little more wind over here, so we'll stop on this first show marker and see what happens. Frisco said, hands-on steering. He said, what you doing? All right, so yeah, you guys take a look. We have a little more ripple on the water over here, so maybe we can have a little bit better results over here. Let's take a look and see. All right, who else runs Garmin? Who runs Garmin Live Scope in the chat? If you run Garmin, type Garmin in the chat. I have some questions I want to ask some of you guys. If you have Garmin, type Garmin in the chat. Garmin Live Scope. All right, Texas New Pass Garmin. Let's see. Whipstick said, you already hit his pocket enough. All right, Texas New Pass Garmin. Bass Owner has Garmin. All right, so I have this switch right here. This switch that I installed, this will turn the GS10, the black box, on and off. Do you guys, I've heard some people say that they actually turn the system off each time they pack up and run so that the transducer does not burn out. Is that an old thing, or have you guys even heard of anything like that? What do you guys think? We got Magatimbe in the chat. Am I saying that right? Timbe? Good to have you tuning in, hanging out with us for a quick minute. I know I said I was going to some docks, but I was thinking maybe I could make a quick pit stop at this this shoal market, but I'm not really seeing any activity. Let's make one more cast and then we're gonna keep on moving. All right, Texas Noob says, I disable the transducer on the screen when I'm running. So what does that do? Why do you disable the transducer from the screen? Spot Snatch said, do you have a button to turn the fish on? You might need to hit that. Phil says, do you need it on when you run? If not, turn it off, save it. But what are you saving? What are you saving? Texas Noob says, I disable, okay. All right, Murph says, I have a dedicated battery with a kill switch on it as well. So when I shut it off, it shuts all my electronics off and my black box. Yeah, so I have a Perco switch that's connected to everything also. Bass Hunter says he's never heard of that. Okay. So Bass Hunter, apparently you leave yours running. All right, Texas Noob says he pauses it. Frisco said, first off, are you using a C-Clear wire harness, power harness? No, I am not. What does a C-Clear power harness have, Frisco? Let's break it down to the details. It is only wiring. It's just wiring, but it's just a name brand. So if you just have to know the specific gauge wire and stuff like that. Boyan says, I always leave it on. Frisco says, and are using the right end breakers. Frisco, what kind of questions are you asking? All right, we got the Goblin in the chat, said the water condition looks nice. Oh yeah, the water looks nice, but right now it's not treating me right as far as catching any fish. Dave says, that's some clear water. Oh yeah, it definitely is. All right, Texas Noob says, it stops the transducer from pinging. I have been told that you shouldn't use your transducer out of the water. And when you say better gauge wiring, if you have 10 gauge wire and 10 gauge wire, or you have 8 gauge wire and 8 gauge wire, and one is C-Clear harness and the other one is 8 gauge wire. When you're saying did you say better wiring? Yeah, better gauge. What does better gauge wiring mean? Do you mean like a thicker gauge? Is that what you mean? Spotster says, I think all the wires are individually shielded. We got Russ Craven back in the chat. Good to see. Oh, I'm supposed to do one more cast and get to stepping, huh? All right, let's go ahead and move, guys. So yeah, I have the correct gauge wire. I think it calls for 10, but I have 8. So I went a little bit over. And I actually made a video showing the complete setup. So if you go and take a look at my Mega Live installation video, it's the same wiring that was set up with that. But the wiring is actually shorter now because I have my lithium battery in this compartment. So the run is not even far at all. All right, let's head back over here and let's go back to those rocks where we were at before. All right, Phil says maybe he means shielded wire so you don't get bleed over and static. Russ says, did I miss any big catches? Not yet, sir. Bass Hunter says, I would think the number of times you turn on and off would hurt the transducer more than leaving it on. Spot Snatcher says, what makes it bad to ping out of water? Inquiring minds want to know these things. We got the Goblin says, money, you always got the wisdom. Am I in the wrong if I taught my nephew how to ride a bike and my brother-in-law is upset saying that he wanted to do that? Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. All right, let's talk about it, guys. We have a topic of discussion. All right, Frisco says, are all your graphs on the same gauge wire? So my graphs were wired through the factory. So I didn't see them wire that stuff. All right, let's see. Frisco says, or are you mismatched? Yeah, that was wired through the factory. Boyan says, check the back of pockets. We need to do some pocket fishing. Frisco says they should all be on the same gauge wire, which is what you can get with a C clear power harness. Yeah, so the graphs and all of that, the graphs were all set up whenever I got the boat. All right, let's see. Boyan says, Antonio and I walked him yesterday. Okay, yeah, I saw you out there doing your thing. Phil said, do you see current as a funny thing? I used to work in robotics and everything ought to be shielded because if it wasn't, there'd be interference between the wires. Oh, okay, you said you whacked them. That's right. Yeah, Antonio told me he ended up with his biggest fish was, I forgot what he said, like a 2-something with 12-something pounds total. All right, so this is the new topic of discussion, guys. Let me find the question. Somebody said they want to hear about some wisdom. They want to know if they are in the wrong. They taught their nephew how to ride a bike, and his brother-in-law is now upset with him because he wanted to teach. That is a memory that he wanted to have with his son. But now it is forever gone. What do you guys think? Is the goblin in the wrong for teaching his nephew how to ride a bike? All right, what is the verdict, guys? Let's help us out. Help us out. All right. All right, let's see who's talking about it. The topic of discussion. Patricia said, if you snooze, you lose. Oh my goodness. All right, Phil said, only if the dad was a loser and just kept putting it off. Then the other guy should help out. But if the dad really wanted to do it, he should have done it. Oh my goodness. Phil said, hey. Phil said, you good, Goblin? Possibly. Possibly. Let's see. What does Dottie say? I don't think so, because if Dad wanted to teach his son, he would have done it. Russ says, it basically boils down to communication between the two. If that is broken, no one will benefit ever. Frisco said, ouch, that's a tough one. Let Dad teach him how to ride a motorcycle when he's older. Oh, my goodness, not a motorcycle. So, and we're just assuming that you did not know that that was something that the dad wanted to do. Chef Boy said, facts. If the conversation was held beforehand and he did it anyway, it's fade time. Oh, no, my goodness, not fade time. You got to chin check him, Chef Boy? You got to talk to his chin? Frisco says, how long was the bike just sitting there? Dottie says, people make time for stuff they want to do. That is so true. Got to make time for what's important, right? I think all of us are guilty of that at some point with certain things. We want it to be a priority, but we just don't make it a priority. Russ Craven says, assumptions is the killer of progress. All right, so give us some more details, Goblin. Did you know that his dad wanted to have that memory with teaching him how to ride a bike? Frisco says, the little boy, I would think, only asked the uncle because the dad was not stepping up. Oh, my goodness. But we don't know if the little boy asked the uncle. Texas Noop says communication is key. But if the nephew asked Unc, then no problem. Boyin says, focus. He says, focus on catching fish. I want that money. Hey, listen, you know I do start talking and forget about all of that, right? Because, I mean, it's just a good time to just be out here relaxing, listening to the birds chirping, casting. I'm fishing. I may not be catching, but I'm fishing. We're having some good, it's good listening and good conversation. Good listening and good fishing. That's what I call it. Good listening and good fishing. Patricia says he's riding. I guess that's all that matters, right? Chef Boy said, I need answers. Where did Goblin go? Did Goblin take off? Did he just leave us in suspense? Not going to give us any more info? Oh, we're going to try this fluke now, guys. After I get this one in, we're going to try the fluke. All right, there we go. The Goblin is giving some more information. Dottie said, Goblin, where you at? We need clarification. The Goblin says, nah, I don't really talk with brother-in-law because he kind of weird. But if kiddo wants to ride a bike, then I'ma teach him. Thanks for all the wisdom. All right, and he said he did not know that that was something. Shout out to Squiggly Lines in the chat. That looks like somebody from Japan in the chat, right? Dottie said, so it is what it is. And Chef Boy said, go ahead and get ready for the fade. Chef Boy said, oh yeah, Goblin, trying to run bro-in-law away. Phil said, maybe Goblin did it out of spite because he's a little weird, because the brother-in-law's a little weird. All right, so let's just take a poll. I just need everybody to put yes or no. What do you think? Should Goblin have taught his nephew to ride the bike without communicating to the brother-in-law? That's the question. Yes or no in the chat. Phil said, told you he did it for spite. Oh, he did? Let me see. Let me go back up here. I didn't see that in there. I didn't see Goblin say that he purposely did it out of spite. There we go. He says, did not do it out of spite. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see what the yeses and nos say. Chef Boy says, yeah, Goblin, the one that wants to fade. All right, so Russ says he is not wrong. Frisco says, growing up, my dad worked so much, he never had time to take us fishing. My uncle took us, and I remember my dad thanking my uncle and giving him gas money. There we go. All right, Boyen says, no, he is not wrong. Bass Hunter says, no. We got McCoy says, no. Chef Boy says, I say no. Phil says, yes. Phil said, yeah, he wrong. And he did it out of spite. Phil is not letting up. Oh, let's throw this fluke out here real quick. Boyen, is it fluke season yet? Phil said, well, when he said his brother-in-law was weird, that kind of doing it out of spite. Oh, man. All right, my screen has too much glare on it. I can't really see what I want to see. All right, let's move. All right, we're moving and covering water. Man, so I put on a high performance prop and this thing is flying. I have it set on 8. And how fast are we going? We're going 2.3 miles per hour. All right, we don't have much time left, guys. All right. So the chat is more interesting to me, guys. I'm trying. Look, I'm trying to fish, but you guys got me intrigued with some of the stuff you're saying. Let's hop back in the chat. Boyan says find some suspended fish and they'll eat it. He says suspended fish need food too. All right, Frisco said contrast for glare. Patricia says brother-in-law is not true blood. Timothy Turner says I caught 6 on a fluke last Friday throwing up next to the back of dock post on Lanier. Okay. All right, so it's fluke season. Boyan says Young Deer Creek is packed with big ones. All right, so maybe we'll go to Young Deer tomorrow. Chef Boy says Goblin be spoiling nephew, having him going back to his daddy like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna just ask my uncle. All right, Minnesota says you're so lucky we still have 24 inches of ice. Oh my goodness, that's not good. We got TZX says what state? I'm out here in Georgia, down south on Lake Lanier. Frisco said, did I ever have a problem with the motherboard of my Ultrex? I have not. Whipstick said, yes, the shot clock is ticking. And we got 13 minutes left on the shot clock, guys. All right, the official Justin White is in the chat. What's going on? He said the money team is representing. Look at him, been a member for well over a year. Good to have you back in the chat. We're having some good fishing and good listening. Just talking about a few different topics. All right, so Goblin, sounds like if majority rules, you're good. But I don't know what that says about the relationship between the brother-in-law and you and the brother-in-law. How can you kind of help fix that a little bit? Maybe you should talk to brother-in-law and you guys plan on going on a bike ride together. Like just go riding some trails or something like that. The official Justin White says, look like you caught a tree pounder. Uh-oh, we have another interesting take on it. Frisco says, hold on. How did the sister-in-law feel about it? All right, Goblin, how did the sister-in-law feel about it? Phil said, did you bring your pet with you today? Phil, today doesn't count. Today we're having good listening. I know I say good listening and good fishing, but today was just good listening. We're talking about some interesting topics. So to answer your question, my pet may be with me today. We're gonna see. We have 11 minutes left. We just had us a little hit, but it didn't take it though. All right, so if Goblin, are you still in the chat? How did sister-in-law feel about the whole thing? I mean, not sister-in-law. How did your sister feel about it? Did Goblin come back into the chat? All right, we have 9 minutes left on the shot clock, guys. 9 minutes left. All right, did Goblin come back into the chat? Oh, the sister is cool about it. All right, Frisco. All right, so Frisco said, isn't it happy wife, happy life? So, Goblin, how did you address it? Did you apologize and say I didn't know or anything like that? Or did you say, just tough luck, bud? We can step outside if you want to. Phil hit me with the false bite sensation. Frisco, did you say that you do have Garmin? Because you said adjust the contrast, but I don't think there's contrast on this on the Garmin. I think contrast is on Humminbird. All right, so Frisco said no, he does not. Chef Boy said Goblin stepped over him like Iverson did to Lou. Oh, goodness. He said he just disrespecting him. All right, so what suggestions do you guys have for Goblin to help repair the relationship or repair that issue? Does anybody have any suggestions for him? Boyan says, if you meet me at Young Deer boat ramp tomorrow morning, I could look and maybe set it up for you. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? Oh, you talking about set up my I thought you were talking about set the fish up. I was like, man, you good. Boyan said he could set the fish up for me. Be like, all right, Fish, MoneyBass is gonna be coming out here. I need you to act right. We do want to show the people, the fine viewers, some bendation. So we're gonna need you to cooperate. All right, the Goblin says, I told him he has another one on the way, so he shouldn't be so mad. He'll get another chance. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Goblin said, I'm just kidding. I apologize. Okay, that is a good one though. He said, hey man, don't you just have another kid. Just have another kid. You got another chance. Oh goodness. Stop whining, bud. Just have another baby. Russ says, communicate. Ask questions before doing things for the nephew. Shepard says, they have to get the gloves on because Goblin don't respect no bull. Shepard said, Goblin is ready for the fade. He want to put the dukes up. Patricia says, what does a skunk smell like? Oh, we still have 4 minutes. What's going on, Tom Mix? You see him out here giving me a hard time? Phil said, don't bother with the weirdo. Oh, man, this is all bad. Life is all about experiences and relationships. You gotta be good with your peoples. All right, we have 3 minutes on the shot clock, guys. 3 minutes on the shot clock. Can I make it happen? We're gonna fish it slow now. We're gonna have to milk it. Let me focus. Let me pay attention. We're gonna focus. Boyan, what is the clarity that you're getting right now on your screen as far as the with the pollen and stuff like that? Are you getting a lot of interference from that? Chef says, me and Money caught the same amount of fish and I'm on the road. Chef Boy, okay. All right, okay. It seems like you taking something from the book of Chicken Hawk, huh? Okay. I'm gonna remember that. Official Justin White says, I am the king of last minute magic. I don't know about the last minute magic today. I don't know if I'm gonna do some last minute magic today. I haven't been focused. Today was good listening. Good listening and fishing. Not good listening and good fishing, just good listening and fishing. Boyan said he gets a lot of interference. Well, I can't really show you because when I'm showing it through the camera, it has that flash going on. I know you guys see it flashing like that. but it doesn't show that when you're not looking at it through the video. We would get hung up, guys, with 1 minute on the shot clock. We got Rayshawn in the chat. We're out here fishing Lake Lanier. All right, guys, this is the official last cast. And the wind got it, so it wasn't even a good one. It wasn't even a cast. Oh, man. And I see some suspended fish out there. Chef Boy said the traffic is thick out here. Patricia said, them fish said April Fools. Oh my goodness. Frisco said quiet is kept. I once told my brother-in-law, brother-in-law to stop being my nephew's friend and be his dad and discipline him. Took him a few years to appreciate that info. Uh-oh, okay. Frisco said he had to let him know. All right, that was the last cast, but I saw some suspended fish, so I do want to do something for just a quick second. Just to see if I can get these suspended fish to follow one of these baits. Let's try a spy bait. Let's not try a spy bait. Shout out to Tom Mix. Welcome to the money team. Frisco said, meaning we didn't speak for a while. We got Zaffron back in the chat. Said, are you bass fishing? That is exactly what I'm doing. Tom said, I'm back on the money team. Shout out to the money team, guys. Really appreciate that, sir. Man, I was hoping I could see like a suspended fish real quick so I could try to get a minnow bite. Chef Boy said he's really just fishing for water. All right, Chef Boy only gets a half a guess on the next fish. He doesn't get a full guess like everybody else. All right, guys, I tried to rush out here real quick, set up a few things, see what we could see. I saw what I saw, but didn't catch what I thought I'd catch. But all in all, we still had a good time. It was still some good listening, had some good convo. So I guess everybody knows communication is the key. Don't be out here teaching the kids. Don't be out here teaching these kids how to ride these bikes. But yeah, so I would say that just try to think of something that you can do, that the three of you could do, you know, to kind of make a new memory, something like that. Appreciate that. We had Ricky Bobby tuning in, said he hit a like for the algorithm. Want to give a big shout out to SWAT Lawn Operations, guys. Let's go ahead and get it cracking. Shout out to SWAT Lawn Operations for sponsoring this thing we call Bass for Cash. But I guess we gotta catch a bass in order to give away the cash, right? Frisco says, gotta be careful these days now. They are bumping up ethanol and gas. Wait a minute, what does that mean? Shout out to Zaffron, says, I'm 10 years old. All right. Zaffron said he's a sea fisherman. He's out there making it happen. Zaffron, do you know how to ride a bike? Whipstick said, they don't want this money. Phil said, skunk for cash. Skunk for cash. Oh, let me show you guys this. So this prop that I got, you guys see that prop? So that's that high performance prop. Let's see if I can reach down there and spin it. This is that high performance prop right there. Has kind of different shape to it as far as the blades and stuff like that. All right, but it's time to skedaddle. All right, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, guys. We'll be back at it one more again. Hopefully it doesn't rain tomorrow, and we'll be back out again. All right, guys, I appreciate the strong support of the channel. Make sure you guys share these videos. We are now back on our way to 20,000 subscribers. All right, I know we're a little over we're over 19,000 right now, so things are going good. All right, appreciate y'all. I'll see you on the next one.